Hi, welcome to another of my top tip videos. In this one, I'm going to show you how to build your own clothes rail using copper pipe, just like this one behind me. Now, I've had this upstairs in my walk-in wardrobe and then I lost my wardrobe, so I brought it down here in the carport. I'm going to show you firstly how to cut it down to size and then solder the joints together to create any shape and size that you want. Now, you may need to create long areas for dresses or short ones for t-shirts, skirts, or even trousers. The size and shape is your choice. To cut your pipes, you're going to need some form of pipe cutter like this one. Now, this is an adjustable one. By turning this handle, this mouth opens wider. It's got a little blade on the inside here, and as you wind it down, it goes tighter on the pipe. So you can go anywhere from about a 38mm pipe right the way down to a 9mm pipe on here. Right, I'm going to mark up the bottom of the pipe up to 350mm, which is what I need to take off. Place a little mark on here. So you tighten that up, making sure that your blade here is just on your pencil line. As you pull that tighter a little bit, it's going to squeeze into that copper pipe, and then you start to turn that. Now, it feels quite stiff to start with, but each time I go round, I tighten that up just a little bit more. And that blade is starting to cut into that copper pipe. You can already see it's scored quite a deep line in there. There we go. So that now is a nice clean cut, and it's beveled that edge on there and made it quite relatively safe, as opposed to cutting it with a hacksaw and you've got a rough edge. Same again on the other leg. Now that's cut down to size, I'm going to do the same on the opposite end. So now it's cut down to size and in position, you can see how easy it is to cut these pipes. So once you've cut yours down to length, whatever height you're doing it, and then the bars coming across, you're going to have to fix them together with the joints. Now you can see I've got joints on here. I've used a lot of T-junctions. So I've got my straight coming up here, I've cut into it, put the T-junction on, and then I brought a bar across here, joining into this one, and again another one there, going into the back of the wall. But I want to show you how these fit together. Whether it's a T-junction like this or just a straight junction. Here's a couple of the pipes I cut off. So these particular ones, they're both solder. One slips on like this, and then the other one slips on like this, and they'll kind of butt up and meet in the middle. Now these are sweat-on ones, meaning you get your solder and you pop it around here, you apply your heat to it, and then the solder will go down the sides there. The other one, take that apart, looks pretty similar, but it's not. This one has the soldering ring already inside it, so if we look closely, we can see there is already solder in there. They go on exactly the same. They slip on like this. You apply your heat around this ring here, and the solder will start to bubble out of the top or the bottom of it there. This is my preferred one. I'd rather have that. It's a little bit better, certainly if you're doing water or gas, which you shouldn't be doing gas if you are a DIYer at home. However, when you're doing rails like this, this is perfect for it. Now, before you try to solder any copper pipe, make sure it's cleaned off with some emery paper or wire wool. Slide the joint onto one half of the pipe. Then slide the other pipe into the joint, making sure they butt in the center. Then you can apply your heat. I'm using a Wagner Inferno heat gun. Real quick and simple to use. The solder will start to get warm now and come out of the joint and bond to the pipe. Continue this on the rest of the joints. We've been using straight joints and T-joints to make this structure. So now the solder on the joints are drying out. I want to explain to you what I've got this arm for. It stands about 300 millimeters away. I have got another junction here, the T-junction one again. Now what that's going to do is hold this flange, which is a bracket, and that's going to be screwed to the wall, and that'll stop my rail coming this way. The reason I've got it that length is because of my coat hangers are going to sit on these rails and come across about there. So if my jacket is coming into there, it'll come out about that far as well. So you place that into position. I'm going to take my pencil, just mark on the brickwork. Now of course this is a solid brick, so you are going to have to use a masonry drill bit for this. So I'm going to pull this away a little bit so I can get at it. The one below first. So now they're drilled in my brush, just wipe them off, and then I'm going to use a plastic raw plug, place that into the hole, taking the hammer, just hammering them in flush. Slide my bracket back over. Line them up, line your screws up, start to hand tighten them a little bit, just with your fingers, and you'll feel them start to bite into that plastic plug, and then drive them in with your screwdriver. Now my copper piper didn't go all the way to the ceiling, so I wanted to create myself a shelf. I did this by cutting up some 2x2 timber and screwing it together to create a frame. Once the frame was complete, I brought this in, fixed it to the wall and sat it on top of the pipework. Then I went back to the workshop, cut myself down some 18mm MDF with the circular saw, polished the edges off with a router, brought that in and fitted it in place to complete my shelf. Now where my pipes are sitting onto my porcelain tile here, I'd normally put the bracket down, drill, plug and screw that in, but I don't want to damage my lovely porcelain tiles because this may only be a temporary measure for a couple of years. So I'm going to use my Max Bond because I know that this sticks really well to more or less every material. It certainly sticks to porcelain and metals and copper like this. In fact, there's not much it won't actually stick to. So I'm putting plenty around it there. And then I'm going to place that down. Let it start to ooze out the sides and then just tweak that little grommet screw there. And that'll dry nice and solid. Job done. Time for a cup of tea. There's nothing quite like getting organised. But if you like our videos and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications.